Hello! My name's Sarah McCreevy, and this is behind the scenes of Mandala Sounds. The aim of Mandala Sounds was to create an interactive therapy application utilizing video game technology. So, this was my final major project for my MSc, and I wanted to develop skills in audio implementation for nonlinear media. One of the first things I did was look at the Foley footstep system and the ambience. So I'm going to do this in two parts. I'm going to talk about sound design for the first part, and then the second part, I will talk about the music design. So this whole project was created by me. The environment that you see at the top right hand of your corner in the on the Unity window. This was purchased through the asset store. It's an existing environment. All I did was change some of the lighting, add a fantasy skybox. I blocked off the kind of creepy area because we don't want that in therapy. Deleted some skeletons. Don't want to be triggered by those. And I created this entire project myself. But let's start with the sound design because that's what we're interested in, right? So I created a Foley footstep system, as you can see here on Fmod. So we have 5 different surfaces, which I had to make sure were taggable. So I had to lay down some paths and things, some box colliders, so that I could tag these. There's probably an easier solution, but this was my first project. So there's about 6 samples per surface. So they're all using multi-instruments. So they're randomized, and there's a little tiny pitch variation to have some variability. My favorite are the wood footsteps for the little bridges in the game. So the creaks I recorded, some floorboards in my house, and these are set to 20% probability. So they're not triggering all the time, and even if they are triggered, a different one is usually being triggered. So you get this nice little sweet kind of creak when you're kind of wandering over the little footbridges. In terms of the ambience, a lot of the recordings I took up in Scotland in this beautiful forest, and a couple of river sound samples as well. The main ambience is this forest 2D environmental sounds that have a lot of different birds triggering at different times, and then with some kind of forest wind. But the actual forest wind sample, it says wind there, that actually contains more than just wind as well. So it's quite immersive with all these different sounds happening. The 3D sounds are your butterflies, the waterfall, the campfire, and the river. So, for example, if we look at the waterfall, and then we look over at the Unity project. Now I haven't looked at this for a long time, so audio objects. I think if I was to go back, I would definitely relabel everything, and I would approach the project very differently if I was to do this again. But as you can see, we've got the emitter in the middle of the waterfall, and then I've set the attenuation based on how far away, adjusted it to a good level of perceived sound when walking around the map. In terms of the river, you'll see it says river 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this was my solution for covering such a big area of the map, was to have multiple emitters across the river. Now that I have experience with Wise, I can see that there are much better ways to do this. But I created a bunch of emitters and then offset the the samples so that there wasn't any phase cancellation happening. So that's the main kind of sound design stuff. There's like three really simple UI, like gong type sounds, to fit with the meditation for when we're saying yes, I want to meditate, no, I don't want to meditate, and when you're exiting the meditation. And the other thing is the actual four meditations themselves, which I recorded. So these are dialogue edits from my yoga instructor. I got her to come around and recorded her in my little studio here. And yeah, so there's obviously a lot more I could go into about how I figured out like the clicking of objects and how to move into those meditations. I can do another video if you like. But this was part one, and part two is going to talk about the music system. So thanks for listening. That's all I'm going to say for now. But if you have any questions, please send them over. I love talking about this stuff, and this is my baby. This is my big project I did for my master's. So yeah, feel free to ask away.